Holy crap, we're already on episode 4 of the daily podcast. That's not very much in the grand scheme of the podcast, I guess, if it's supposed to be 31 episodes long. And but for the listeners, we're at the end of the first month. And we were supposed to be past the first month by now. We're supposed to be done with January. I thought for sure I had hit 12 episodes on the last podcast, but I only hit 11. So we've got a grand total of, I think, 30? And so today is the last day of January. Very unfortunately short, but thankfully there's a few months that have, that have less than 31 days, as well as some months that one month only has 28 days, So there's a little bit of leeway in there. But anyways, that's totally irrelevant. Today we're going to talk about, just because I happened to glance to my left, my video game collection, My video game collection is the source of much dread and uneasiness in my life, because it's so woefully just incomplete in terms of what I've played. Like, I literally have organized this into 4 different shelves. The top shelf is just my DS, 3DS, and PS1 games. Which are not really in any kind of order right now because I didn't think about it. But I've got 2 shelves of games that are on CD, and then 2 shelves of games that are on Blu-ray. And I've organized them so that the top shelf of DVD games is games that I have beaten, and the other shelf is games that I have not beaten. They are of equal size. They are equally sized shelves. Games I've beaten, games I have not beaten. None of these are games I just bought. Well, okay, that's not true. More of the ones I've beaten are the ones I just bought, though. So the ones I've bought recently are more likely to be the ones I've actually finished. And then I've got my Blu-rays. They're all on one shelf, but they're divided into equal halves. Beat, not beat. And yeah, like, that's a nightmare. Half of my games are games I haven't beat yet. And, I don't know when or how I'm going to get through them, but it's not even like a fraction of the total games I want to play that exist, I mean, none of this is representative of how many games I've played, like, I've played hundreds of fucking games. I only have probably like 100 games on my shelf, but, maybe not even that. I don't know. It looks like it might be about 100 games, but I've played fucking 700 games. And, most of them are either my brother's, or they've been sold, or I played them on emulators, or on Steam, So, it's not a good representation of all the games I've played. But what it is a waking nightmare reminder of the fact that I will never fucking beat them all, because fucking video games take too long. Video games take too long. That's why I don't play as much video games. Anime, most of it, most of the anime I've seen is either a movie, or a short film, or an OVA, or a TV show that is 12 episodes long. That is 4 hours. You give me a 24-episode show, that's 8 hours. One sitting. You can do that in one sitting. It's not easy, but you can do it in one sitting. Some of these video games, I couldn't possibly play in one sitting. You can't play a JRPG all the way through in one sitting unless you're fucking deranged, 35 to 55 hours, and that's if you're playing the minimum. Not even trying to get 100%, I can get 100% in Tomb Raider in like 20 hours, if that. 2 sittings, For me, because when I play a video game, I play through it all at once. It's just a fucking nightmare. There's too many games. But I had an interesting realization today. Because May and I were at a GameStop. Because we got Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Her sister and her sister's boyfriend bought both. They pre-ordered the 2 games so that May could, as a birthday present. And we went and picked them up. We picked them up. Today was the day that they came out. The day that this is being recorded. And, we went and we picked them up. We were at GameStop, and this was a sort of a bigger GameStop, one of the bigger ones in the area. And I'm looking at a shelf of Wii U games. They still have a whole shelf for the Wii U. The Wii U is still occupying wall space. It hasn't been relegated to sharing a shelf with the Wii yet, like it is at other stores. But the Wii U's got its own wall, and I'm looking at it, and I don't own a Wii U right now, and they're still fucking way overpriced. Like, it's an old console. It's a dead console. Why are they still charging $150 for it? It's fucking retarded. But I'm looking at the Wii U, and I'm looking at its games, and thinking about how many games I want for the Wii U, like which games I want. And then I realize, suddenly, that this is a complete library. This console just died. So it's not like there's a whole plethora of games that aren't easy to come by anymore, you know? Like, if you wanted to try to collect all of the, even PS2 games, you know, well, or even PS3 games, rather. PS2 is obviously way out, but even if you're trying to collect all the PS3 games, it's a console that's been dead for a little while, and there were tons and tons of games for it, some of which were probably limited release, you know? It's not going to be easy to find every JRPG that was released on the PS3. But the Wii U, pretty much all the games that were ever made for it are right here at GameStop. You know, they got all of it. They got the whole Wii U catalog. And of that catalog, there's not that many games I'm actually interested in. Like, games that were only on the platform, that were not released elsewhere, that I haven't played or don't own. Like, let's see. I own Bayonetta 2. I don't remember if Victor fucking sent it to me. I'm looking at my collection to see if I've got it. Because I own it, but I left the Wii U with Victor, and I had him mail me all my games, because I just hadn't brought any of my Nintendo games, because I didn't bring any Nintendo systems when I moved, and then I immediately regretted it, because of course May had Nintendo systems, so I had him mail me my games, but it doesn't look like he mailed me Bayonetta, which is probably because he wants to play it, and he knows I don't have a Wii U. But, you know, I have Bayonetta 1 and 2 for the Wii U. I think that's the only Wii U game I ever bought for myself. Yeah, I never got that into the Wii U. I've played through all of Wind Waker HD, and fuck, there must have been something else. But I was looking at the Wii U games, and I was like, I really want, like, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. I want Mario Maker. Never got to play Mario Maker. It seems like it'd be fun for at least a little while, you know. God, there's a ton. Okay, not a ton, but there's more than 2, and I don't feel like listing them all. But like, there's a bunch of Wii U games I want. But it's like it's probably less than 10 total, maybe even 10 total. And it suddenly occurred to me that if I wanted to, I could just buy a Wii U and all the games I want for it in one fell swoop, and then I would have that console complete. I would never have to think about it again. Like, I would just own a Wii U and every relevant Wii U game to my interests. And then, if I played through all of them, I would be done with that console. Like, there'd be no need to ever open the Wii U again unless I wanted to replay Mario Power Tennis or Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. It's the only reason I'd have to reopen it. That's a really interesting idea, and like, it would be difficult with any other console, because the Wii U was so short-lived, and it had so few relevant games to my interests, that it would be a fucking breeze, you know, like, it would take me, I could probably play through all the Wii U games I want to play in a month. Like, I could probably buy a Wii U, all the games I want, play through them in a month, and then just like, boom, there it is, the console's complete, you know, and this is not counting for, like, the games that are sold in the console, but there are not a lot of exclusives to the Nintendo eStore, you know, like, there's, Fast Racing Neo, and, I have no idea, I don't know anything else, like, most of the games are multi-platform, so, you know, we're not counting multi-platform games, but I could get all the Wii U games that I want, play through them all. And realizing that was sort of a gratifying feeling of, like, it gave me a little power that, like, there is a way to play through all the games that I want to play. You just got to make it into projects. You know, I talked about this already on this show, that like the way I consume stuff is in project form. And if I could make a project out of like, I'm going to beat every Wii U game, then like, you know, it feels like you're ticking off a huge box in like the history of gaming. Like you can safely say, oh, I did all the Wii U games that seemed like they would appeal to me in any way, you know? I'm obviously not going to do every Wii U game because I'm not interested in being a, you know what? I'm going to split this. Next episode,